mainstream of first century history. If the Copper Scroll did indeed indicate where the actual contents of the temple lay hidden, Qumran could no longer be so depicted. On the contrary, connections would become apparent between Qumran and the temple, the center and focus of all Judaic affairs. Qumran would no longer be a self-contained and insulated phenomenon, but an adjunct of something much broader, something that might encroach dangerously on the origins of Christianity. More disturbing still, if the Copper Scroll referred to a real treasure, it could only be a treasure removed from the temple in the wake of the AD 66 revolt. This would upset the safe dating and chronology which the international team had established for the entire corpus of the scrolls. The combination of these factors dictated a cover-up. Allegro at first colluded in it, assuming that delays in releasing information about the Copper Scroll would only be temporary. In consequence, he agreed not to mention anything of the scroll in the book he was preparing. His general introduction to the Qumran material scheduled to be published by Penguin Books later in 1956. In the meantime, it was arranged Father Milik would prepare a definitive translation of the Copper Scroll, which Allegro would follow with another popular book pitched to the general public. Allegro had consented to a temporary delay in releasing information about the Copper Scroll. He certainly didn't expect the delay to prolong itself indefinitely. Still less did he expect the international team to diffuse the scroll's significance by dismissing the treasure it inventoried as purely fictitious. When Milik proceeded to do so, Allegro did not at first suspect any sort of conspiracy. In a letter to another of his colleagues, dated 23 April 1956, he gave vent to his impatience, but remained excited and optimistic, and referred to Milik, which Cavalier disdained. Heaven alone knows when, if ever, our friends in Jerusalem are going to release the news of the Copper Scroll. It's quite fabulous. Milik thinks literally so, but he's a clot. Just imagine the agony of having to let my book go to the press without being able to breathe a word of it. A month later, Allegro wrote to Gerald Lancaster Harding, in charge of the Jordanian Department of Antiquities, and De Vaux's colleague. Perhaps he already said something was in the wind and was trying to circumvent De Vaux personally, to appeal to an alternative and non-Catholic authority. In any case, he pointed out that as soon as the press release pertaining to the Copper Scroll was issued, reporters